Welcome to another episode of Working Title with Keisean Rains. This is Keisean Rains, and this is my podcast. Today's guest is someone who is very, very special, very, very dope, very, very inspiring, someone that I had the privilege of being introduced to years ago through a mutual friend, and we have managed to stay connected virtually and otherwise, etc., etc., etc. It turns out that we just happen to run in the same circles of some very amazing, creative, and powerful human beings. And as it turns out, we both have been led to walk firmly in our purpose and provide unique, motivational, and inspirational services to the communities that we get to be a part of. She is a fellow author, a fellow speaker, a fellow podcaster, and just a fellow healthy and happy and joyful human being who I feel super privileged to be able to share space with and to have in my company. She took a couple of moments out of her day and allowed me to ask her a couple of questions to offer some wisdom to my listeners. And I'm just really, really grateful that I get to share it with you guys. So without any further delay, I'd like to introduce you to MoBrown, a motivator, a author, a wonderful and humble human being. So get comfortable. Allow yourself to take a couple of long, deep, cleansing breaths and get ready to listen to another conversation. Well, hello there.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well as well.
So we're going to dive right in,
Okay.
And I'm going to give you the mic, and I want you to introduce yourself to the listeners, share your name, your astrological sign, and one of your passions.
One? I got so many. It's kind of hard
I
to
know,
say
as
one.
everybody says, but we'll get to the other ones, but for now we're just
Okay.
going to one. Yeah.
Okay. My name is MoBrown. You can call me Mo. My sign is a Pisces. And my favorite, one of the things I love to do is motivate people.
You're a Pisces. I did not.
Yes.
Water signs? Yes. I'm a Cancer.
Are you?
I'm a Cancer.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
Boy.
I'm a Cancer. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what's up. Yeah, that's okay. That's how we connect.
That's what we gel. Yeah. It's a water sign kind of vibe going on around here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. All day, every day. Yeah. No.
Yes.
The reason I ask what the astrological sign is just because I'm interested in astrology. I love the zodiac. I love, the stories that it tells about people, about, their personality traits and that kind of thing. And even though I know that each person is obviously unique, right. I like the fact that there's a connection between us and the stars and the planets and, the elements that are around us, that we're not just these bodies, and we are much more than that. And so I like to kind of explore the astrology element for that reason. And so some people are like, oh man, you one of those people who read your horoscope every day and you won't go outside. And I'm like, nah, it's not even like that.
I even have a question in regards to that though, because they always say that, males and females are, even though we have the same sign, like I'm in Pisces, I have a friend who's a Pisces, the male, we differ. It's crazy. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Well, believe it or not, the difference between the masculine and feminine energy when it comes to our zodiac. Well, if you think about it, we all have masculine and feminine energy. Yeah. All of us. Every human being has. We are all a balance of both.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And some of us express our feminine more than our masculine at different times in our lives. For those of us who are parents, for instance, sometimes the way we relate with our children might be a little more masculine, a little more feminine, but it looks different for everybody. And so when you think of the zodiac, it's no different in that regard, that we have masculine elements that show up for women
And then men sometimes have feminine elements that show up for them.
Yes, you can tell too. You can see
You can see it. You're like, oh, because I feel that way sometimes when I don't know very many people who identify as male that are cancers. I know a lot more female cancers than I do male cancers. And I've discovered that a lot of female cancers, cancers are known for being sensitive, right?
Yes.
And, cancers are sensitive. Oh, y'all cry babies. I'm like, that ain't me. You know
they
what I
say
mean?
The Pisces too.
Pisces too. Well, you know what? It's water signs in general. Okay.
Right.
Water signs in general are known, so to speak, for being sensitive. And what I discovered later on in life was that sensitivity doesn't mean weak.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean soft. You know what I mean? It means sensitive. So we're sensitive to energies. We're empaths. Yes. We're intuitives. We're clairvoyants. You know what I mean? And that's something that I think is really unique to water signs that other signs don't necessarily have, so I think it's a superpower more than something we should be ashamed of. So I'm like, yes, I am sensitive.
Oh yeah.
Which is why I can read you. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I see you.
Thing. They get mad. I'm like, listen, don't do it. Don't try it. I already know what's going on. Yeah.
I already know what's coming. I already know what's coming to the table. Don't trust me. Right. Yeah. I see you coming a mile away. So yes. So exactly. So that was the reason that's the reason why I like to ask that question. And the reason why I ask one of your passions is because, like myself, I know that you have a lot of them. And the reason I asked you to identify just one is just because I know that motivating others is not always easy to do. You know what I mean? Because everybody requires a different kind of motivation. So my first question for you is, how do you motivate yourself?
I do the same exact thing that I would when speaking to, any individual in regards to motivating them. I do the same exact thing. It's because, for me, before you start inspiring somebody, you got to motivate yourself, correct? So for me, I go in the mirror, I look at myself in the mirror, and I motivate me. If I'm driving, I'm like, you're going to do this damn thing. It's okay. I do some recordings. And I play back. So sometimes if I'm feeling a little low, or sometimes I'm feeling a little bit stressed, or just feeling tired, lethargic, or something like that, I just play it, and it just boosts me up. Also, what motivates me is my mother. She motivates me. The time that she was here, she didn't complain about her pain. She kept pushing. She acted like she had a normal life. She was myself and my sibling, and I was the oldest, of course. And every day I would see her struggle, but she never showed it. But I knew she was, and I wish I could just take away that pain from her, but I couldn't. And I try to make as an easy life for her the time when she was here. So she definitely motivates me, because I look at her like, anything I can do. Because I know she did it regardless of what kind of pain. So she motivates me a lot, extremely a lot.
Okay, thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
And I think it's kind of cool that you give honor to your mother as a source of motivation, whether she's in the physical or in the non-physical. Because I think that what's beautiful about the relationships that we have with our families, parents, grandparents, is that even once they transition, and I don't know for you, but for me, once my grandmother transitioned in December of last year, I felt an even greater surge of motivation coming from her once she was no longer here physically. You know what I mean? Because now it's not a matter of me going and talking to her and her sharing, her wisdom or encouragement or, affirming me in person. Now it's like she's everywhere. You know what I mean? And I see her in everything. And those moments where, like you said, if I'm feeling stressed or I'm feeling tired or lethargic, lazy, and I don't want to, I feel her like, no, keep going, keep going. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can't ignore it because she's everywhere. You know what I mean? So yeah, I thank you for sharing that. So you mentioned that you're the oldest. I'm the oldest too. Like, I love the alignment here. How many siblings do you have?
I have two. And they both
Okay.
taller than me, so but I'm the oldest. I run
All
things.
my siblings are taller than me as well. All 4 of them are taller than me, and I'm the oldest. And
Are
I'm
they?
yeah, they are. I have 3 sisters and a brother,
Oh,
and they're
okay.
all. I mean, not I wouldn't say substantially taller, but they're all noticeably taller than I
Oh
am.
man, I'm
But
like 4 foot something, and they like 6 foot. So
something. Oh wow.
both of them.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, just because I'm shorter, it doesn't mean I'm not smarter.
Oh, they know. Oh, they
So
know that. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because they still call me like my sis, I need some help. I need some advice. They always calling me for that. So I'm always open for them.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like when you're the oldest, that I don't know if this was your experience, but I feel like as the oldest, I became for them
Oh
like
yes.
like a third parent, because my mother and my father are still together to this day, and
Right on.
but still
Cool.
growing up, yeah,
Yeah.
honor them for that. But they there was 5 of us, and I
Mm-hmm.
know that when my siblings came along, that I had a certain level of responsibility for them that even carries like into adulthood. So even
Right.
though now we're all adults and in some essence they are my peers, I still look out for them the way that a parent would. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So my next question for you is, how do you practice self-care? What are some things that you do to take care of yourself?
Physical or mental?
Anything you want to share.
Physically, I think it's always important to take care of yourself in regards to what you eat. Because believe it or not, what you eat deciphers on your day. If you eat like a big meal and you just feeling like, got the itis, you want to go to sleep. You like, so it depends on what you're feeding your body. You don't have to be a vegetarian or vegan or anything like that, but just something that that can nourish you during the daytime and even the night. Of course, self-care with the hair and all that. Got to make sure you take care of yourself. But, you have to do all extra with it. But just know that you care for yourself that much. Mentally, I love to, before I go to sleep, I love to listen to like jazz hop. Have you heard of jazz hop?
Yes.
Yes, I like to listen to that. I don't like to listen to anything that with words unless I have to be in a mood to listen to music with words. But other than that, I love with no words. It just soothes me. When I'm working on a couple of programs I'm doing, I listen to jazz. Anything that to relax my mind, so that's really helps me to get my day started. So just music, because I love music. Music is a part of me. And it's just, you can't control that. It's like, I just gotta have music. Or this I love to do. Since I'm a Pisces, I love to go to the beach and listen to the music of the ocean. I love to listen to the music of the ocean. I just love it. Regardless of what I'm hearing people walk by me and speaking, I tune everything out. Like, just listen to the ocean and just allow it to just speak to me. And I do that often. So, yeah.
Yes. No, I'm with you on that. I feel the same way about the music and about the ocean. And I think that's, one of the reasons why, California's my home. I was born and raised in Southern California and have lived all over the country, and then always find my way back here because I need to be by the water, and people are like, oh, you don't even necessarily get in the water in Long Beach. I'm like, I know you don't have to. I know Long Beach got mop water in the ocean, but I also know that it speaks to me the same way as any other ocean. It speaks to me, like you said, that rhythm and that soothing. And scientifically speaking, there's, ions that come from the water that help to balance you energetically as well. So being close to the water assists you physically and, mentally and spiritually. So it's got, it's a triple threat, the ocean. You can't go wrong with the ocean.
No, you can't.
And I like music as well. Like, I'm the same way. I'm a music head. I love music. I remember telling somebody, I'm like, I could do without cable. I could do without television. As long as I have music, I'm good to go. And I'm good to go.
And I think that's like for everyone though, because I think that I've heard one of my friends and I were speaking in regards to like just general stuff, and we mentioned about music, and I know that one of my friends said, if music never existed, I don't think that this world would be the way it is. Not meaning a bad connotation, but it's just like sometimes when you listen to music, it helps you. And so I think that, and I agree with her. If we didn't have music, I think we will go crazy. I think there'd be a lot of craziness. Even
I think so
more.
too. Even more so. Yeah. Well, they say there's a saying that's, I don't know who wrote it, but because I'm, quotes, I'd be paraphrasing. I don't necessarily know who said it, but I acknowledge it's a quote. So if you don't think it's mine, I ain't saying I said it.
Right.
But there's a quote that says, music soothes the savage beast. And I think that all human beings have a little bit of savage in them.
Yes.
Because that's just the way we're designed. And music has a way of, keeping that under wraps. Or like you said, in some cases, when you want to get hyped, like I know when I want to slap somebody upside the head because they cut me off in traffic, I'm going to turn on a certain kind of music so that I can like virtually slap them.
Meditation.
And then I'm cool. Then I can or I can calm myself down.
Yeah, and, meditation with your eyes open.
Meditation with my eyes open, like, ooh, I am loving you from here. That's what I'm doing. I'm seeing who you really are beneath all that other shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you on that. I feel like music is also it's a unifier. You know what I mean? If you think about some of the greatest musicians like Bob Marley, for instance, brought together so many different types of people under the one love, umbrella for humanity, and I think that it has a way of doing that. So yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yes, absolutely.
My next question for you is, how do you serve others?
It's it could be so many things. Cause you don't really think about it when you do it. So I serve just by being, I serve by being present, being an ear, listening, working on understanding, because we don't know everything. So I was always taught to ask questions. If you know anything, ask, don't assume. And so I serve my purpose by being there, being present for them, and not just think about my own personal, but I can always give my relation to what they're going through if I'm going through it, if I went through that. But I'm always an ear for them. That make any sense? I'm always, especially when I'm around kids every day, I always have to be an ear for them, because they feel like they want to say so much, but they have limitations. And so I try to just be a service of being there for them, amongst other things, but just being an ear and giving them that heart that they need, and that comfortability, so they can be comfortable around me, and just in general with people in general. So yes.
Right. No, I like that, because I like that you said that you listen, and that, and that's something that I think a lot of us can benefit from practicing, and then also receiving that, because like last night, I'm a part of this, sister circle, and we get together once a month. And last night, we were led through this exercise, and part of it was about just listening, where the facilitator had us, sit across from each other, like pair up, and we sat across from each other. And for 5 minutes, one person was able to talk about everything that was on their heart. And the other person just sat and listened. They didn't nod. They didn't smile. They didn't verbally affirm or agree with. They just allowed themselves to kind of just be open to receive it. And then we reversed, and then, kind of shared afterwards. And doing that exercise, I realized how good it felt to have somebody just listen. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know, like, you could probably relate to this too, like, because of the kind of work that we do, which we'll get into in a second, but because of the kind of work that we do, we naturally have this voice, and to motivate, to share, to inspire, to empower. And sometimes people just want to be heard.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They're not necessarily ready in that moment to receive anything that we have to offer other than our presence.
Right.
So I think that's really powerful that you do that you show up for people in that way.
Communication is extremely important with anybody, especially if you're in a relationship. And sometimes, as humans, I mean, myself as well, I've had, back years upon years, I had a hard time of, like, because I wanted people to hear me, but I wasn't hearing me. I wasn't listening to me. Like, no, Mo, you need to listen to other people, because they too have something to say, and you have to be open to that, because I was so passionate about what I'm saying, But then I had to calm myself down and just like, wait. My grandfather used to say this to me. He says, and he's a pastor, and he says this. He said, anytime when you, because he knows me, I like to talk. So he says, anytime when you have a conversation with someone and you feel like you're going to have a rebuttal, argument or whatever, you drink a glass of, you take a glass of water. And anytime you feel like you want to interject, because when you're so passionate, you want to just interrupt. He says, take that glass, take a drink of water. Just take a glass, just drink that water. Take a sip of the water and set it down. Anytime when you feel that way, just take a sip and put it in. I said, I'm gonna be thirsty. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna have to
go to the bathroom.
Yeah. It's gonna be a big jug then, because but it made sense, and I understood what he was saying. Sometimes you have to really just, your thoughts can be important, but there are too. So you have to be able to just be understanding and say, you know what, I'm just sit here and listen to you, regardless of what you're saying. And I just, and it's always important too when you are listening to somebody, you always have to repeat what they're saying. You're like, okay, so they know that you're listening. Because some people are like, are you listening to me? Like, yeah, I got you. Yeah, I'm listening to you. They're like, no, what did I say? You're like, you said, Bird had a little lamb. That's what you said, Right. You're like, no, that's not what I said. No, it's always important to repeat what that person says. Not verbatim, but just a little bit of what, so they know that, okay, you're aware and you're alert, So, communication is very important.
No, that makes complete sense. And thank you for sharing that, because I think that there's different types of listening. When you study communication, about communication, there's active listening, and that's the repeating back what they said, and the, the verbal acknowledgement or the nonverbal cues of like nodding your head and that kind of vibe. And then there's, I won't call it inactive, but there's more, what is it? There's a word for it. It's not coming to me right now, but there's a different style of listening that is really just kind of allowing yourself to be a sounding board in some cases, where people just need to get it out, whatever there is. Like some people call it like when they're venting, but it's not always negative. Sometimes venting sometimes has a negative connotation, but like sometimes when someone's like, I just need 5 minutes. I just need to get this out. I need to share what's on my heart, and you just got to let them get it out. And sometimes what I learned last night, even yesterday in general, was allowing myself to just be still and just take it in did create an opportunity for me to really absorb more of what they were saying, which was interesting for me because I've been taught like active listening and, like you said, communicating and, repeating back what they said and that kind of thing. Like I was taught that's the way to listen. But I realized that there's a time when that's necessary. But sometimes when people are sharing things that are coming from the heart, they're not ready for anything to come back other than just your presence.
Right.
So I'm learning the necessity of both of them, and I like what you shared about what your grandfather said. That's interesting because that's something I learned when I was in school way back 100 years ago. And I was in a pre-law program, and we were studying like how to show up in court and like little tricks of the trade of like how to basically keep your cool. Right. And the pitcher of water. The pitcher of water is on the table for that exact reason. 9 times out of 10, people think the water is there because the attorneys get thirsty. No, the water is there to keep your cool. So that when you want to like pop off on the person who's on the stand or the other table, you take that sip of water. You know what I mean? That's another reason why anytime you have corporate, meetings or gatherings, there's always water. It's not because people are thirsty. It's not because their mouth's going to get dry. Right. It's to give you something to do. And there's like a psychological piece that goes with it too, which is if you're taking a sip of water when you want to reply, you're sipping in whatever it is they're saying. So you're giving yourself another moment to really process it. Because, sometimes somebody says something, you're like, oh, wait, hold on. Say that again. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me make sure I heard you correctly before, I just, come for you, and not in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes when you're listening, people say things and you're like, oh my God, I know exactly what I want to say in response to this, but I just kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yes. And
I know the feeling.
And it's best to wait too, because you might end up saying the wrong thing, and, and it might come off disrespectful, even though in your mind is not. You just like, this is what I'm saying, and et cetera, et cetera. But you're like, if I would just calm down and listen to what they're saying and try to gain that, whatever they're saying, conveying to me, then I can just probably reply in a manner that's respectful for myself and for them, you know.
Right,
So
right. Because I'm with you. I like to talk as well. And a lot of times people come to me with, you know, stories and things that are going on in their lives.
Right.
And because I have been through so many things and I've come to a place where I now understand why I go through these things, it's so that I can be relatable, because it's me walking in my purpose. This is part of my training, is what I call it. It's like life training. I can't learn it in a classroom. I got to learn it through experience. So when people come to me and they share certain things, I naturally want to be like, oh, yes, I know exactly how that feels because I've experienced blah, 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 blah. But then I realize that sometimes when I really want to connect with somebody, especially if it's someone that I'm just getting to know, I really want to create that space for them to kind of like share whatever they'd like to share. And then I'm, you know, practicing the asking permission, like, is it cool if I give you some feedback about what you just shared? Or is it cool if I share this experience that might, you know, help you out? Like putting myself in a place where I'm asking for permission before just offering it. Because I'm like, you know, like the, you know, the preachers on the street corner on the soapbox, like, let me just give it to you. Let me just give it to you. And people are like, I ain't ready.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I know you can relate to that. Like we've been in conversations together before. Like I remember we were at a gathering a couple weeks ago, and we're like talking to this person, and we're just both like tag team, just like pouring into her. And I'm like, oh, this feels good. I hope she's receiving it.
She's receiving it in the name of Jesus. I felt like she was shouting she was shouting there too. I saw it. I felt it. I felt that.
Yes. Like pass the collection plate. Pass the collection plate. Right. So speaking of collection plates, I want you to share with me, what are you working on right now? I know that you put out a book recently. I want you to share a little bit more about that as well.
Okay. My book just published my book about a little bit last year, probably like towards the mid last year. It's entitled No More Sorries. It's basically saying, why would you apologize for things you can change in your life? Because we often do it all the time. And my book is very concise. It's only 88 pages. 4 of those pages are quotes. And in each step, I have quotes of my own, but also just it's a very concise book. It's very concise because, you know, when you read a book and a self-help book or a personal growth book, it's really thick. It's really super thick. And then sometimes you forget what you've read. So I wanted to implement something that people can relate to, realness of it. So when they read it, they can just like, oh, I can relate to it, or you can hear my voice when I'm throwing it out, you know, there, because you get to know a little bit about me, of why did I pursue writing, what motivated me, like my mother, and other stories and just things that can relate to everyone's life. Like, for instance, I have a few chapters. Well, I call it steps. I got steps all the way to 14. The first one is stand tall. The second one is hear the truth. The third one is motivation. 4, make it a priority. Number 5, throwing away our worries. Energy eaters. Pretenders prescription. That's funny. Money, not the money you're talking about. Money about our lives. Changing our way of thinking through our actions. Your day starts and ends with you. Love them from a distance. We can relate to that. Determination. Self-forgiveness. And no more sorries. Just simple, concise.
I like that. I'm like, those are like those meme things you see on Instagram. It's just the word and just the quote, and then you resonate with it and you kind of come up with your own. That's dope. So those are the steps that are in the book.
Yes.
So when someone reads it, they're going to go through each
exactly.
one. Okay.
Exactly. Okay. And they don't have to go. It's not a Bible, so they don't have to start from Genesis to Revelation. They can go. They can go to step 3, 4, whatever they would like. And I also have notes they can write down if you like. They can jot down some notes if you like. But it was specifically for them. It's not just for me. It's for everybody. Right. A child can relate to it, all the way to an elderly. They can relate to it because we all go through something every single day. We're always constantly learning about something. Even Albert Einstein, he was still constantly learning about things. So it's really important, and just want to reach their greatness to see this to push people or get them to understand how great they are. you know, because even though we're maybe going through something, you're still great, you know. What they're like, I was asking me, you know, Monique, Mo, I'm not perfect. Mo, I'm not perfect. I'm like, what is exactly perfect means? Because what you are perfect. You are uniquely made perfect the way you are. You are perfect. So, because I think that we look at TV and all these other things, you know, and think that, okay, that's perfect. But it's really not. You are perfect through anything you go through, even the mistakes you've made. Yes, you're still perfect no matter what. And so, yes, it's on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. It's on Kindle. I'm working on it to be an Audible. So I'm doing that. And I am also working on another book, and that's entitled You Matter. And my goal is to publish that sometime next year. I want to take my time on that one, just like I took my time on No More Sorries. Because, you know, of course you can relate as an editor, you know, as an author. Sometimes you change things up, you take away, you add, you take away, you add. And I definitely don't want it to be commercial. I want it to be real as possible. And then I'm also working on an organization right now, and it's entitled Yes, Youth Matters. Youth, as in, you know, the young adults. And so I'm creating an organization that I help them with scholarships, tutoring. Implement programs like music, dancing, stuff like that, and be able to help them with their resumes, do mock interviews just to prepare them for their first job. So I want to be able to do all of that. And right now it's in the works, and I'm excited for it. And, you know, I always constantly keep doing things upon things. So
I love it. That's exciting and super powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Because I think that, you know, a lot of times since I started doing this work, people have asked me the, you know, question of like, well, how do I know when I'm walking in my purpose, or how do I know when I'm living my purpose? Like, what does that look like? And my answer to them is always, well, how do you serve? You know, how do you serve? Because that's, for me, my definition of walking in my purpose is being in service to others. And it looks different for all of us, you know, and the intention, though, I think is what's the same, is to provide, you know, support, motivation, empowerment, you know, positivity, education, you know, enlightenment, everything for others. Because I think that I believe that when we provide for others, then the universe provides for us. You know, it's a reciprocation. It's like a beautiful relationship. We give and we receive, we give and we receive. And I think that a lot of times, sometimes we believe that our purpose is connected to a specific job or a specific amount of money or a certain definition of success. So my next question for you is, how do you define success?
There's a quote. It says, success is measured by effort. So I think that success doesn't mean money, doesn't mean, you know, the quality, the quantities of things that you can do. It's the passion with what you're conveying. I think that if you're speaking, you're speaking to a friend, and he or she really needs an ear. And you're actually like, you know, listening to them, and, you know, you guys passing on conversation, and you really diving into whatever they may be going through, and you're speaking to them, they really feeling you. And all of a sudden they're just smiling. They're like, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I thank you for listening to me. It makes me feel so good. They just give you all these types of compliments. And that's success right there. That is success right there. It's like, oh my gosh. And it makes you feel good. When it makes you feel good, that's success. All the way success, you know? So that's what I feel like success means to me. Not just the money and not just the business aspects of it, but what are you going to do? What are you getting out of it? Meaning, what are you trying, just like, what are you trying to do to serve? What are you, when you write this, like when I first started, when I first wanted to write a book, and I sat down on one of my chairs and said, Mo, what is your purpose of writing this book? What do you want your purpose to be of? Who are you trying to motivate? You know, so you have to ask yourself those questions first, because you're going to have people who are going to doubt you. You're going to have people who are not going to support you. And that's just the way it is. And what really pushes me even more when people doubt, believe it or not.
Yes. I posted something like that. I think I posted something on Facebook last week that was like, I love it when people doubt me because it serves as fuel for my fire.
Yep.
And not to say that I'm spending time thinking about doubters or haters for that matter, but I love it because it's almost like, well, for me, we all deal with self-doubt. You know, we got that little voice in our head that's like,
of course.
You don't blank enough, or you don't whatever, or you this, you that. We all have that. So when it comes from outside, for me, it's like a personification of my self-doubt. And I can look it in the eye and be like, don't believe me, just watch.
That's a song too.
That's a song too. I'm not quoting that. I didn't come up with it. I don't know who said it, but it wasn't me. But that's the song that comes up in my head. Like, don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch. Just watch. And you know what? Actually, you can't help but see me. Because if you can doubt me, that means that you see me, right?
That means I'm important into your little circle. I'm important.
Exactly.
Even though
that means that I must be doing something right.
Exactly.
You know, I must be doing something. If I got your attention, then I must be doing something right.
And sometimes they don't verbally say anything to you. Sometimes it's gesture. You know, sometimes you can just tell. You like, oh, I smell the hate. I feel the hate. You know, you already know it. You like, okay, you know, and you like, all right, this just gave me, and they don't, and the crazy thing is they don't know that. They think that if you're hating, that you're like, okay, I'm going to stop what I'm doing because, you know, like, no, because especially if you're going through something, it's funny because one of my friends where I was talking to her and she was talking to me about her life and stuff like that. And I was telling her about my book. And she said, you know, Mo, you have to go through something to be able, in order to write this book. You have to go through something. And that's what in life, sometimes you're going to go through something and they don't understand like the struggles that you have been through in your life to say, you know what, thank you. I want more of that. Because just like, you know, you losing a family member or a friend, that's fuel. I just lost a friend a couple of weeks ago. They found him in his apartment. He was supposed to be coming back into Long Beach. They found him, and I'm like, he was a good friend. I've been on for over 15 years, and he's fuel to my fire. I'm like, I'm woke the hell up because you know, at first, you know, of course, you got your book, you got things, and you know, it's kind of like, you know, not slow, but just nice and just calm, right? But then when I found that out, I was like, oh no, I got to get off my behind and do more and do more. Cause I never get satisfied. I just don't get satisfied. I feel like I need to do more, you know? But yeah, doubters just really, I just love it. Just doubt me. You don't have to verbally say anything. I just know it, you know? I love it. And I love people who support me as well. Absolutely.
Of course.
But, you know, if I didn't have doubters, I wouldn't have published my book. You know, if I didn't have doubters, I wouldn't be doing a whole bunch of other stuff. So
right. No, I completely agree because I feel like, you know, the same thing with putting out a book myself last year, that, you know, I had to sit down and say, okay, who is this for? You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like I didn't write a book to get famous, you know, necessarily. Like I like money because I know that having it will enable me to reciprocate and revitalize and pour into the communities that I want to serve. But I didn't write a book to get famous for writing a book. You know what I mean? I wrote a book because I had a story to tell. And I believe that the stories that I tell that come from my own experiences are not mine to hold on to. You know what I mean? And I feel like when people say like, you have a gift, well, a gift is meant to be given. You know, a gift is not meant to be held on to. Otherwise, it's not a gift, you know? So I felt like my gift has been writing. I've been writing since I was 10 years old, you know, and I love writing, and writing is a tool of expression. It's a practice of self-care through journaling. And so writing is also an extension of my gift. And so making that choice meant that I did have to face those bullies and face those demons and those haters and those doubters and all those people by sharing my story and putting it out there, and doing so without apology and doing so without shame was something, it was an act of bravery, you know, it was an act of courage. And for me, that same feeling of losing, I lost a lot in 2017 and going into, I'd say in the last 8 months, I've lost, quote unquote, a lot of things. But then I sat with it and said, you know, I didn't really lose it. I just released it. I released a lot. And you know, as well as I do, that in order to, you know, acquire, we have to release. In order to gain, we have to lose. You know, like that's just kind of, again, that's how the universe works. It's a give and take. And so I know that when my grandmother transitioned last year, and, thinking that I found, the love of my life last year, and then, losing that, and then having to move out of my home that I was in for 6 years, and quote unquote, losing that, and, losing clients and losing traction in business and all these things where I felt like, damn, do I really have to lose everything? Universe? Like, can I have anything left? But I realized that it was space being cleared.
Yes.
That it was space being cleared so I can cultivate the things I'm doing now.
Yes.
The next book and the podcast and the yoga courses and everything else that's coming is like, oh, okay, I get it now. So like you said, like your friend said to you, you had to go through some things in order to get to where you are. And that's why I don't regret anything that's happened in the past, because I know that every step and every breath got me to where I am.
There we go. And and let me piggyback on that as well. Like, when you're going through something, I've learned that and it was hard for me as well, but I've learned to just be okay with it because we just don't know. Just like it's kind of like you're blind, and you're just like, in the dark, just trying to figure out where's the door is at. But sometimes you have to allow the universe to lead you, because sometimes I think it shakes your life. Just to get you, like, how when someone's sleeping in the bed, you're like, wake up, it's time to go to work, or it's it's kind of like that. It's waking us up to get us to realize, don't you understand? You don't need to be right here. Right. There's another door for you. You need to close that door right now and be okay with it. And it's all about being okay with the struggle. I can relate to that. I can definitely relate to what you're saying. It's just all about just being okay, even though you feel like you're not okay, but just being okay and not worrying. And I have it in my book, worry less and do more. Just not worry and just let it go. And it will. Oh my gosh, when I used to worry, things wasn't going in as I wanted to. But when I didn't worry or worried less. Man, it overflowed. I mean, I was just on cloud 9, and and it's the magnetic. It's just how it's that energy. Yeah. When you're worrying so much, it drains you. Yes. You think about everything, it drains the hell out of you. But then when it comes down to you, just like, I'm not gonna worry. I'm gonna just keep on focus on. I'm gonna keep moving forward. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm allowed the universe to, lead me to where I need to be led. And then, and once you comply and listen to it, everything will work out. It's just all about just learning and enjoying that journey.
Right.
So.
No, I totally agree. And I think that sometimes when I think of worry, because I'm like love analogies and shit, it helps me process. But when I think of worry, I think of like driving a car with the emergency brake on. Ooh. You can go. It ain't gonna be pretty though. Yeah. You can't go very fast. You can't go very fast, and it's gonna be a struggle, and it's gonna be a grind, and it's gonna be like, but you let the emergency brake off, and it's like smooth sailing. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's how worry activates. It shows up and it really does hinder you and drain you, like you said, and slow you down to the point where you lose motivation and you lose focus and you lose, connection to whatever it is you're cultivating. And it comes from, years of conditioning, learned behaviors, whatever. Right. But just like anything else that we've been conditioned to do, we can condition ourselves to do something different. You know what I'm saying? Just like we can change habits when it comes to, the way that we talk to ourselves, the way that we, like you said, when you look at yourself, in the mirror and you affirm yourself every day, or the kind of music that you listen to, the kind of people that you have around you, is something that was my biggest, revelation, I would say, like in the last 12 months, was to be very, very specific and selective about the people that I have around me, because you probably experienced this when everybody has light. I believe everybody has light within them, and you let it shine, like the song says. But I think that sometimes people who haven't discovered their light want to take your light from yours. They want to take yours. Energy eaters. They want to take energy eaters, like you said, energy eaters, the ones who are like, ooh, they know that what you have is good, is juicy, and is powerful. And so they want to gobble it up. You know what I mean? So you have to protect your energy. Yes. So how do you recommend someone protects themselves from an energy eater?
For me, that's a good question, because I got several things I could say. But honestly, when I run into people who are energy eaters, I always refer back to them. I'm like, don't you know you're awesome? You know you know you're awesome, right? You know you have potential to do anything you want. Because sometimes it's just when people are energy eaters, it's just basically asking for attention, and attention is attention, however how you get it. But it's just basically saying, hey, I need an ear. You know, I need an ear. I need someone to listen to me. So you just basically refer back to them and say, you know how amazing you are. You know how fantastic. You know how beautiful you are. So
I love that.
And
that's such a great answer. That's such a great, seriously, that's a great answer. Cause I've heard the term like energy vampires and, a succubus or whatever who sucks all your energy away. And I've never heard anyone say really to kind of love on them. You know what I mean? And I think that's a really beautiful way of coping with that, because a lot of times people think energy vampires or energy eaters, I just need to repel them, just get rid of them. You know what I mean? Like some raid or something, just like spray them away.
Right.
But the idea of giving them some positivity and affirming them is I never even thought about it like that. You just schooled me on something, because I've been over here like blocking, like get off me. Right. Get up out my zone.
I mean, of course, you're going to deal with the haters, and some people just refuse to just want to admit that they're hating, or just even realize about what they're doing or whatever. Sometimes people just don't want to change, and that is what it is. And then you just have to block them, because you're just going to have to just keep doing what you're doing. But there's other people out there who are, sucking your energy and your light, but then they're trying to do it just to say hello. It's like a kid. I need help me. So it's like that. So sometimes you have to like it goes right back to communication. Got to sometimes drink that water and like listen to what they're saying. Look at their body language and say, you know what? Maybe this person just need some motivations, something. And I've ran into that before with people, and I can tell, and I'm like, well, and I was like, tell me about you. What's going on with you? And then they get shocked. They like, wait, no one never asked me that. Like, so tell me about you. What's going on with you? How's everything? And I always like to ask questions, like, how's everything? How's this? And they're like, well, actually, this, and they feel good. They feel great. And then they finally open their light. Like, you can see the difference after the conversation. So
yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. I'm like, that's worth the price of this phone call. I love it. I'm like, that's so dope. No, I really do, because it really, like, I'm seeing myself, in both sides of that conversation, because I know when I think about or speak about like energy, energy eaters, I'm like, am I that for someone else? Because sometimes we don't recognize that, even though we come with so much positivity and motivation and inspiration and empowerment, we go through stuff too. You know what I mean? We're still on a journey as well. Like I haven't like arrived, you know what I'm saying? I'm not like an ascended master going up yonder. I'm still on this planet. So I'm still dealing with like human being type shit. You know what I'm saying? I have those moments where I need to unload, or I need to, vent, or I need to be heard, and being more conscious about making sure that when someone approaches me, to, like you said, ask the questions and find out what does this person really need from me right now, and being okay with even just asking. And I have a good friend, and that's something that she's been practicing too, is like, her question is like, how can I support you right now? You know what I mean? How do you need me to show up for you right now? And really saying that, like you said, the person receives it in a way that they weren't expecting. Like, oh, I wasn't expecting you to ask me what I needed. I wasn't expecting you to ask me how I'm doing. Like,
they want you to clap back, and you're not going to clap back like that.
Exactly. So I love that. So, okay, well, before we wrap up, this is one last question I have for you. And this is a question that I actually like to present to all of my guests, because I think that everybody that I've had on as a guest on this podcast, I learn from every single time. And, one of the biggest reasons that I asked you to be a part of this is because I've recognized your light, from a distance, and, have watched your journey from a distance, and then have gotten the chance to kind of share space with you more frequently, which is super dope. And I was like, I've got to get her on here. And I know this episode in particular, every episode is dope.
Yes.
But I know this episode in particular it's gonna reach into people, because the two of us, combined create a really powerful synergy.
Absolutely.
That I think people will really connect with. So my last question for you is, if you could sit down with your 20-year-old self, what would you say?
Keep going. Keep going. Because at the end of the day, we are all in our experiences. We all go through something. But going through something doesn't mean negative. It's positive in that. So just keep going. Keep going. No matter what's going on, you just keep going. Keep going. That's it.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
I love that. I love it. I love it. It's funny how we get hella wise.
Yeah.
Now that we're not 20 years old anymore. We hella wise now. Like, I got it all figured out.
I know my ABCs correctly,
Yes. Okay.
Oh,
so before we go, I want you to share with the listeners how they can find you, how they can connect with you, social media, website, all that stuff.
All right. Social media. So you can, if you would like to, I have also a podcast as well. But I have a few, and this all depends on it. I speak about No More Sorries, but also speak about just everyday life. If you'd like to get in contact with my website, it is motivation729.wixsite.com/mo, not the underscore, but the line, motivation. And you should have it, or you can check me out on my Instagram, which is MoBrown, or you can type in Mo_B_motivation, and you should see me, and then you can just add me as a friend. I'll follow you back. And then on my bio, it has my website as well. You can always connect with that. And other videos, I'm also on Facebook, same name, MoBrown. And I also have my website there. If you want to purchase the book, you can also go on the website and, it leads you directly to the site. Or you can just type in No More Sorries on Amazon. And you can just put Monique Brown. That's my government name. But don't, most people call me Mo. But Monique Brown. Oh man, I got a whole bunch of other stuff, but that's basically what you can connect me to.
Okay, cool. Perfect. So yeah, if folks want to connect with you, they can find you through social media or your websites, and then there's ways to connect to your website through your social media
Absolutely.
as well. So yeah, and if y'all want to connect with her, you can also find her through me, and I can connect you with her.
Yeah, she's my girl.
Yeah. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Can I read one? Can I read one more? Okay,
you can take it. I'm listening.
So step 14, I want to close it out with her because she's doing an amazing thing, and I just want to say I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you, and I want to just say keep going. We're going to do so many great things together and individually, and I'm here to support you no matter what. You better call me anytime you need me. So, all right.
Thank you.
So
thank you.
Absolutely. So step 14. It's entitled No More Sorries. This is the last step of my book, okay? I want you guys to listen to this real quick. Here we go. It says, it's very short. Throw away all your pain, animosity, hurt, discouragement, and self-doubt. Begin to show your inner strength and realize that you are worth more than your past. No more excuses for wasting time with people who have or had negative intentions. You will persevere. Be proud of your steps. Do not apologize for your growth. I'm going to say that again. Do not apologize for your growth, for this will help shape you to be the best version of yourself. What we go through in life only explains how magnificent our future will be. Carry on the torch of love, admiration, and appreciation. Worry less and do more. No more being sorry for the things you can change. Take control and responsibility for your life. Try and keep trying. Do and keep doing. Love and keep loving. Smile and keep smiling. Build and keep building. No more sorries, no more excuses, no more pity. Have pride, grab your happiness, it's yours, and take positive risks. This is about you and your growth as a human. This is about taking what is yours. Stop apologizing for other people's mistakes and for your mistakes. Accept the fact that we may not always get it right the first time or even the second, but once we keep being determined, there will be no time being sorry. It is time to begin a new chapter with your life. Begin by loving you more, believing in yourself, and being able to see how awesome you are. Stay honest with your feelings and face those fears. Be patient with you. Never look back, and for that, you are not sorry. You are not sorry for being who you are. So, that's it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. Pass the collection plate again, y'all.
I know we're going to pass the collection plate. This is the fourth time,
We're going to pass a couple times.
And
it's long service.
Yes, church started at 11 p.m. and it ends at 6.
Exactly. Oh man, thank you so much, Mo. I appreciate
Thank you for
so
having
much.
me.
Absolutely, my pleasure. And like I said, people can connect with you. That we gave them a couple different options. Be
Yes.
sure to check out her book. We have something coming up later this summer that we're going to tag team on that we'll keep you guys informed about. But yeah, thank you so much. Have an amazing rest of your Sunday.
You
I appreciate
too. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Okay, peace.
Peace, man.
Oh man, thank you, Mo. I appreciate you for giving me some of your time. I know that we probably could have gone on forever because we just have a really great synergy between us. We bounce off of each other really well, and I can't wait until the time comes where we actually get to share stages and share spaces and actually serve people together, and I know that it's coming soon. I appreciate you for everything that you shared in this conversation. I know that I got some really valuable nuggets of information from you, and I guarantee the listeners will get the same, if not more than that. I appreciate you for just being who you are, for walking in your truth, for shining your light, and for sharing your gift with those who are willing to receive it. So those of you who are listening, be sure to connect with Mo. You can find links to her website in the episode notes. You can also follow her on social media. You can purchase her book, etc., etc., etc. Just make sure that you stay connected to MoBrown because this person is doing some powerful, powerful things in this world. Thank you again for being a part of my podcast. I appreciate you immensely. Peace, y'all. It's time to wrap this up, and I just want to say very sincerely thank you. You have your choice of thousands of different podcasts that you could be listening to each day, and I appreciate you for choosing this to be one of them. Right now, in this moment, I see the light, I see the love, the wisdom, the beauty, the prosperity, the creativity, and the pure joy that shines within each of you, and I bow humbly before your divinity. Namaste.